Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. So let's get into this conversation about Tina Turner. So we all know because the good thing about having a person, when you do a movie about a person, about having them involved, the good thing is that usually you get a really good detail of what happened. Now, for me, I feel like the movie that Angela Bassett played in, What's Love Got to Do with It? I feel like that's like a black classic. And you probably get your black card taken away if you haven't watched that. That's kind of like a classic. That's like Color Purple, or you got to have watched What's Love Got to Do with It. And so in watching that, we realized that actually, a lot of the things that were happening in What's Love Got to Do with It were quite accurate because they had Tina involved in the making of the story. And so we learned what happens in the beginning of this documentary. It talks about, and throughout it, right in the beginning, it talks about her experience with Ike Turner. Of course, that is a big major storyline in the trajectory of her story. So we talk about Ike Turner, but it also gives you even more detail into why some of the things that we know are true in the movie, a little bit more detail into how those things came about. And I kind of want to talk about those things, those little nuances that happen in the story. So what we know that she met him when she was about 17-year-old, like 17 in her teens. So a lot of times people think, because this is such a mature type of story, like because it involves domestic violence and they're going on the road and being rock stars, we got to remember that Tina was a child, not like a preteen, but she was a late teen. She was 17 when she met Ike. And y'all remember that scene that when she was at the bar, meet him and rock me, baby, rock me all night long. That whole when she had on the white dress and her sister Eileen was like, all right, Anime, I told you not to wear the white dress. So you a big girl now. I hope you know what comes with that territory. And so that kind of, preludes to, what's to happen next. You play grown woman, you start getting grown woman. Things happen to you. Hey, Deshaun Ashley, good evening. I didn't do my homework and watch the movie yet. You're okay. Just participate in the conversation. You're all right. So, she was a young girl. So this time, the Ike and Tina Turner review, this is her 20s. She was with him for 15 years, something like that, where this is her late teens throughout her 20s and early 30s. By the time we see her in like Private Dancer era, this lady is in her late 30s, early 40s. She's not some spring chicken. She's already been passed off and thrown away as old school Tina Turner review, that old Ike and Tina Turner, that kind of, she was, to me, the way this depicted her, she was like, I know these are two different, hey, Andre, I know these are two different type of people, but the way their image was crafted in their genre, in the musical genre, Supremes were the classy, clean cut. The Supremes at this time, they had the image of girl next door, wholesome, clean class, giving you this soft vocal that Diana, is known for. But Tina, on the other hand, was, more rough, more sexy, more salacious, more rocky and rhythm, not classic. Like, she used to be, yeah, I remember that video that Jill Scott did when she was stroking the mic. Tina had been did stuff like that, where she's singing a song and it looks like she's stroking the mic. That type of sexy, provocative kind of stuff. Tina was already doing that. So, and I don't want to. She's almost like the more edgy pop singer at the time, like I guess like a Rihanna. Yeah, like a Rihanna now, where she's still a pop singer, but she's not that kind of girl next door black girl. Almost like I don't want to say Beyonce doesn't have a sexy side, because she does, but it's not. Beyonce has a cleaner sexy side. Rihanna has a more edgy punk rock rule. It's more edgy. Rihanna has a more edgy image. And so I think of it like that. Like Tina Turner had this more edgy image that was not as wholesome. She was a grown-ass married woman, so she was able to be sexy and free without the judgment of, Rihanna, the rated R era. Right, exactly. With the shoulders and the spikes and the shortcut. Rihanna don't play safe like Beyonce. Absolutely. Beyonce has, I don't want to say Beyonce doesn't plays it safe, but she has a very good, classic, beauty, sexy. You got to be sexy. I don't care what pop star you are. You got to be sexy. But she does a very classic way, a clean, good girl kind of way. It wasn't until like Partition and, this past little album that she started to be not sexy, but edgy sexy to me. And it wasn't even sexy. It still was classy, Marilyn Monroe, classic kind of beauty shots. But Rihanna has an edge, a darkness, particularly when she did Girls Gone Bad, or what's that, the album when she did the bob cut. So particularly when she did Umbrella and switched to that more darker look, and then got her hair cut, and she started to be more edgy. So Tina was like that. She was, and so when she was younger, she had this. This was her young years. She's dancing. She's on edge. She's on stage with her background dancers, and they doing shake a tail feather and twerking and shaking their leg and wearing it out. They doing way more sexy stuff than when you look at the Supremes. The Supremes are gliding and step in the name of love before you break my heart and it's over. Twirling their dresses, being all dainty and cute. Where, honey, Tina was ready, cocking up her skirt and and she just was a different kind of entertainer. And so, I think it's good for us to notice that and notice what was going on with what she was at the time and what era this was, what was popping at the time. And also as far as Ike Turner. Now, Ike Turner in his own right was somebody who was cutting edge. He was somebody who was creating a sound that was new. And prior to finding Tina and marrying her and the kind of crafting, she had a raw talent and just kind of crafting it into his image, into where he wanted the Ike and Tina Turner review to go. He was actually like producing music and creating songs, but every time he would do something that was cutting edge, somebody would take the credit for it. Like, this is one thing that they kind of pointed out in the documentary, that he was always hooking up with people and thinking that this was going to be his big break. But they would always steal. Like, they would always go off and it'd be in their name. And, it was always somebody going. And we learned, we got a little, a hint of this reasoning when it came to, in the movie, in the, not the fictitious, biography, how do you say that? Biographical. Not autobiographical, biographical. We got a hint of that. Remember when Ike was like, everybody, you gonna leave me? Everybody leaves me. Everybody end up leaving me. And that's kind of real. That was real life to Ike, because motherfuckers would dick him over and leave him and wouldn't give him the credit that he deserved. So he finally meets this young girl and just like that groomed her into loving him, marrying him, slept with her. And, now I got this cash cow with a talent. Now I got this cash cow with a talent. And so now I got to do whatever I need to do to hold on to her. And somebody who is not, one of the things that while I was watching the documentary, documentary and I was like, this is how stupid some men are. And because they've been through, cishet men, because they've been through trauma, they don't know that some of the things that they want, some of the ways to get what they want, if they just would do right, they would get it. It's like, what? It's like you are beating and abusing this woman to get what you want when she was already in love with you, and she would have done whatever. You just needed to make some adjustments to make sure she has some kind of self-care and she's taking care of herself. Take a break and, do something out the box. If you get your ego and control out the way, you would and give her room to fly. You would have, and not that you would, not that it's about control, but she would love you so much that she would be this partner that would want to voluntarily do what you want to do. But instead, you go through tactics. I don't know who taught you these tactics. I don't know where you got it from, but you go through these tactics of bullying and beating and abusing and just doing the total wrong way, like a fucking training a dog in the wrong way, beating them. You do these things that causes trauma. So yes, you cause this fear where they don't want to leave you because then they're fearful and scared. But eventually, like any animal that you get in a corner, they're going to fight you back. They're going to bite you back, and they're going to run away from you. But if you would have wanted the things you wanted, wasn't necessarily the problem. It's your tactics about going about it and controlling. All he wanted to do was make great music and take, do and get the credit that he deserved and blah, 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 blah. Yes, do that. But the way you're going about it is totally wrong. Let's see. The Supremes gave shoulder and soft voices. Tina gave it to you hard and rough, right? Was like product of his generation as far as his misogyny and meanness. And you're totally right, Coco. Me and my friends were talking about that. We have our directors meeting for the Black Trans Coalition. We have our directors meeting every 2 weeks, and we were talking about Tina this afternoon in our meeting. So it's me, Carter Brown, Charles Burton, and Esperanza on our directors board. And so we kind of check in to see what each other, because if you know anything about the Black Trans Advocacy Coalition, it is different arms. It's just right now it's 2 established arms. We got a baby arm coming up for the non-binary people. But the 2 established arm is Black Trans Women's Inc. and Black Trans Men's Inc. And Carter he's the executive director of Black Trans Men's Inc. And I'm the executive director of Black Trans Women's Inc. And then Charlie Burton is the program manager for Black Trans Men's Inc. So I am currently looking for a program manager. I haven't put anything out, but I got things to get in order before I put out a call for a program manager. And so we were in our meeting talking about it, and we said the same exact thing. We were saying that, back in niggas putting their hands on you back in this era was kind of like almost a norm. It wasn't like it is now where you got programs and shelters and stuff that you can go to. And even the women, like if you in your circle of community would be like, girl, that's just how men are. You just got to take it. And just don't try to ruffle his feathers. Don't try to, they're kind of almost excusing it. You can't do nothing about it because they didn't have no power either. And so they're almost telling you to accept it, and this is just how men are. Because I remember back in the day, when my mother was in her relationship with my stepdad and he was abusive, like people, even like men in our family wouldn't even fucking do shit because they would put their hands on their wives. So how they gonna look at my mother's boyfriend and tell him, don't be beating my cousin or beating my sister? They might do that, but then they would be hypocrites too. Because they don't mind putting their hands on their wife. One minute I'll go to my uncle Billy's house and he's smacking up my Aunt Huffy, and then we going over my house and this nigga smacking up my mama. And so it was always, it just felt like it was just and this wasn't even in the fucking this was in the 80s. So this wasn't even in the 60s and 50s and 60s and 70s, whenever she the 50s, the 60s and 70s. So this was a time when, it was even worse back then. So I can only imagine what it was like. Hey, Kareem. Self-sabotage to fulfill what they believe in, inevitably true. I've seen that before. Absolutely. Like Glenn Winfield in the Tyler Perry movies, telling her daughter to stop making her husband mad and he'll hit her. Yes. And so this is one of those things about, ultimately we know it's the man's fault. The man is doing the abuse. So, okay. So I'm not making this point. I'm making this point so you can think about it when this comes up in your life in other areas. So this is a patriarchal cultural thing. Men beating on their women, men, and I hate saying their women, men beating on women. They don't own them. But who they think, I'm saying there because they think that they are theirs, that they own and they can do what they want. Because particularly when a person is married, that was the cultural thing. When you sign this marriage, I actually own you. You actually are under me. Legally, you are under me. You can't own property. You can't own, in this era, 40, 50, 60s and beyond. You can't own property. You can't own credit cards. So literally, legally, I am the man and I cover you. I literally can go and pull money out of your account because I'm your husband. You don't, I own you. For real, for real, for real. Particularly, y'all know the family unit in America is rooted in white supremacy, just so you know. And so particularly when slavery was over, yes, they tried to do the secret shit and try to start the system, the exploitative system of sharecropping, right? But it also changed the dynamic of role in the home once the slaves left. Because once the slaves are gone, and kind of embedded a hate for, it reinforced the hate and the loyalty of white women to them. Because now that the slaves are gone, I gotta cook for my husband. I gotta take care of these kids. Oh hell no! These slaves need to come on back. They have uprooted our life. How dare you? I'm supposed to be chilling. You want me to check the fields? You want me to worry about some fields and shit? I gotta do this laundry. What? Now the work is on the family. So now not only is the wife having to help me do this, but now I'm hoping that she has a bunch of babies so my babies can grow up and help me take care of the farm because I don't have slaves to do it now. So that's one element of the social structure stopping. And then now we got this business going on, and I don't want to give women the power. I don't want to give, I don't want men to be taken, men's power to be taken away. So now I have it set up to where you can't even own property. You're a woman, you're my wife, you can't even own property. This shit got to be in my name. So you see how the rules of the system kind of change. Just something to think about. There's books about it, read it, thanks. But I say that not to blame, not to take blame from men, but I say all of that to say this. There's a lot of women, because of how the culture is, that uphold that culture, that will not try to buck up the system. Now, there could be various reasons. They could be benefiting from the system, or they're just trying to work within the system. Like, girl, We just trying to make it till we can get out of this situation. But girl, what you gonna do? He got a good job, girl. If you leave him, you're gonna be out here slaving and struggling and having to be a sex worker or having to be a prostitute, particularly around a certain era, because there wasn't a lot of jobs for women. There wasn't a lot of jobs for women because you weren't supposed to be working. You're supposed to be at home making babies for your husband. So if you are unwed, you are the woman of the night because there wasn't jobs for you. And then the jobs that were available was seen as African slave work. It was seen as like they wouldn't even get their own fucking water. It was seen as washing clothes. What? I'm a white woman and I'm washing clothes. There was the jobs that was available for women wasn't even that it was culturally not ladylike to do. That was for slaves. That wasn't for us. That we supposed to be at home with maids taking care of our babies while the husband take care of this stuff. And then when it changed, there was jobs that was like, secretarial jobs. It wasn't upper level management. They wouldn't let them get past being a secretary. So the job market for women wasn't even anywhere near what it was for men. So if this nigga was abusive to you, if he was doing anything like that, you didn't have anywhere you could go unless you're going to be a sex worker, unless you're going to, it's nothing that you could do because you were looked at as being thrown away. And then just the fact that you are already married and already have kids, you are used up. At the time, it's more prestigious to have somebody that's a virgin, that's a lady, that you're the only one that has slept with her. You got husbands, you already got previous husbands, and you got previous kids. Girl, you get what I'm saying? So it even ruins your chances to get remarried to a good man because you use goods. But anyway, I digress. There's a lot of women who uphold the patriarchal culture of the culture. And to me, and people always act like there's a toxic femininity. I don't believe in toxic femininity because when I look at the toxicity of women, it is all rooted around toxic patriarchy. It's rooted around, if I'm being catty about how you look and catty about your weight, it's because of the social capital that you get when you look good. When you and that social capital is based in men. It's based in the male gaze. It's based in the power and the money that they have to be able to benefit these light-skinned, mixed, white, whatever kind of girls that fit this perfect hierarchy of beauty. It's still their gaze. And it's not about, we got to blame men. I'm not blaming specifically men. I'm blaming the culture of patriarchy that says men's gaze and privileged men and gives them the power to decide who gets the social capital, who is worthy to be loved, who is worthy to be married, who is worthy to be taken care of. And all these hierarchies based in looks, based in morals, based in race, based in class, all these things are set by powerful men. Birth control, and sometimes women play in, my point is, sometimes women play into those rules and they tell other women, you have to play these rules, girl. Sometimes, because they think they are caring, and sometimes because that's just the world, baby. Get over it. Birth control and access to employment and education change the game for women. Absolutely. They talked about that in the 14th Amendment documentary. Absolutely. And in AKA Jane Roe, which is a documentary on Hulu about abortion in the case, the Jane Roe versus Wade case. Let me cut my sound off so it's not interrupting. So anyway, so I thought it was quite interesting that Ike, what he wanted from Tina, he could have got with healthy, but they don't know any better. with healthy interacting with her. She would have stayed with him. She would have stayed loyal to him because of her trauma around being abandoned by her family, her having a family and having her husband. She would have stayed loyal to that just based on her own trauma. If he would have just, I don't know, he just didn't know better, or this just was his way of thinking, but he would have been able to get what he wanted with the right type of strategy that is more healthy, that with the right type of love and care and taking care of her, but he just didn't know how to do it. Not to give him any kind of excuses or to, I think humans are complicated, and I don't think he was a bad person, but you weren't a good person, and you could have made yourself better by doing the right thing. I think everybody has flaws, but yeah. Savannah's mother on Waiting to Excel. Absolutely. Savannah's mother on Waiting to Excel is a perfect example of a woman who is upholding these rules. She knew he wasn't an ancient type of nigga, but she wanted her daughter to be with a man because he was successful. Not just because he was successful. If you go deeper than that, if you go even deeper than that with Savannah's mother, it is because I don't want you to end up like me, Savannah. I am alone, living off of a fixed income because I didn't just take a man because whatever reason. I don't want you to end up like me. That's the root. It's the fear of her daughter ending up like her. And so you're not choosing the right one. And so you need to choose somebody because you're not getting any younger, baby. It's the fear as well. If you go deeper than he's successful. Hey, Trey, how are you? So I wanted to talk about that. Also, I wanted to talk about her mother, Tina Turner's mother. So this is the new thing that kind of a new element that I didn't that I loved about the documentary because it gave you a little bit more detail in the relationship between Tina and her mother. So in the movie, we get that her mother, was just kind of like a loud mouth, feisty, worldly woman that abandoned her. You feel what I'm saying? So they abandoned her when she was young and she was living with cousins. They didn't send money. They literally abandoned their children in Nutbush, Tennessee, and moved to St. Louis, I guess. And so I guess as she got older, they shipped her back to her mother. And so she started to build a relationship with her. But she never got close to her mother because her mother never wanted her. And so it almost felt like she was almost a burden, which really relates to me, not because I had that experience with my mother, not at all. But my mother had that experience with her own mother. Like my mother when my grandmother had my mother at a young age, she sent my mother to her grandmother and kind of left her. My grandmother would always choose men over my mother. Like if she had a man that didn't want no children in the house, my grandmother would ship my mama off. So I remember my mother, and my mother's life revolved around trying to please my grandmother and get some kind of love from my grandmother. Like her whole trauma is rooted in her fucking mama. And so most of it. And so that whole trauma about trying to get love from her mother, I didn't relate to growing up because my mama was so in my life. She was so loving. And so me seeing my mother like sometimes literally beg to my grandmother for her attention, it annoyed the fuck out of me. and made my relationship with my grandmother bad. But not just that. It's multiple things that made my relationship with my grandmother bad. First of all, my grandmother was one of the only ones that didn't accept my transition. And our personalities, even outside of that, we just clashed. She had no tact. She had no filter. I remember when I was like 5 years old. I don't know if y'all are in my age range. I'm 40. Um, y'all know back in the day, in recent years, everybody was fucking scrambling to find a Elmo doll, right? So back in my time, when I was little, in the early 80s, the doll that everybody was scrambling for was this doll called the Teddy Ruxpin doll. It was like a teddy bear looking doll that it moves its mouth. You put a tape in his back, and you put a tape in his back, and his mouth would move up and down. So just like they were scrambling for the Tickle Me Elmo, back in the day, they were scrambling for this Teddy Ruxpin doll. And so my grandmother, apparently she stayed in line for this doll, and it was a big thing. She bought it. It was for Christmas. It was under the tree. I didn't know what it was. It was under the tree. And finally, it was Christmas, and I was able to open it. Opened it up, and I was like, "Oh my God, a Teddy Ruxpin doll! Yeah." So they always bought me. I was the only child at the time, so I got whatever I wanted. I got He-Man stuff, and I didn't gender things because most of the stuff that I had around me, it was boy stuff. But my mother had a best friend who had a little girl, and she would get all the girl stuff. So we would always play with each other. So she would get all the sickening girl stuff that I could play with, and I would get all the sickening boy stuff that she could play with because we liked both of the things. Like I liked Hot Wheels, I liked He-Man, I liked Orko. There's this little ghost little dude with a red hat and a cape, or Orko, or whatever his name was. So I wasn't totally against like boy stuff. It wasn't like, no. It was like I played with everything: trains, Hot Wheels, Barbie's house, He-Man's house, Castle Grayskull. I played with everything. It wasn't. I had an Atari. I had video games. I had every fucking thing. And so it wasn't. It wasn't a gender thing, but I always had tons of toys. So she gave me this Teddy Ruxpin, and I'm playing with it. And I am a 5-year-old child, and so I'm wondering how he is talking. This bear. I'm 5. So I'm wondering how he is talking. So I take my fingers and I try to stop his mouth from talking to try to open it up to see if I see his voice box. This is what I'm thinking as a 5-year-old. I'm 5. And so when I get his fingers, yes, Orko was his name. Tila was my favorite for the extent my mother admitted to me she threw it away because she didn't want me to be gay. That's funny. And you're still gay. Could have let you play with it anyway. But I pulled the mouth, and the mouth broke off. Baby, when my grandmother, you would have thought that I was like a grown person. She called me everything but a child of God. You ungrateful motherfucker. Now, mind you, my grandmother is an alcoholic, so it's not like this is her normal self. But she's normally mean, even if she's not drinking. But get some honey, slits, malt, Colt 45, the blue bull in her system, baby, she wearing you out. Cuss her like a sailor. Honey, I broke that little bear's mouth off, and she said, you high yellow motherfucker, you high yellow ungrateful motherfucker. I stood in the line for this many hours, and you gonna break the motherfucker and you just open it? Like, this is how she's talking to a 5-year-old. And I was so shamed. I was like, and I started crying. It's like probably one of my earliest times in feeling shame. Like, I didn't mean to do it. I felt shame, and she is cussing me out. And then my mother is like, hold the fuck up. Don't be talking to my motherfucking baby like that. This is a child. This is a 5-year-old, bitch. Don't be talking. Now, mind you, she already got issues with my mama about their relationship. So she like, bitch, don't be talking to my motherfucking kids like that. Like, you is tripping. So then they get to, y'all, you can take that ungrateful high yellow motherfucker out my house and take your ass back to your house. You ain't got to, the motherfucker ain't got, the son of a bitch ain't got to worry about me buying him another motherfucking thing. This is literally how she is talking. Literally. And so her man is like, Odie, because my grandmother, her favorite cartoon character is Garfield. So her nickname is Odie, which if you know Garfield, his the best friend, the little yellow dog, is named Odie. So they nicknamed her Odie. She got a tattoo of Odie on her too. So he's like, Odie, you is fucking tripping. Why are you going off on this little boy about this bear? Take the bear back and get it another one. You got the receipt. Take the bear back and get another one. Say it was broken when you got in the box. Why are you going off like this? But my grandmother is just mean as a fucking rattlesnake. And that's just who she is. That's just how she is, child. And so ever since this moment, I never liked my grandmother. Like, I never liked going over her house. I never would volunteer to go over there. So this is the type of mother my grandmother was. And so fast forward, yes, older people will bring your skin tone into a read in a minute. My grandmother did that. So color store, yeah, honey. Honey, I was all kind of high yellow bitches and high yellow motherfuckers. All that kind of, and she was my color. So anyway, so this is the type of woman she was. So my mother there was a time when I was like 18 and we were living with my grandmother because my mother had relapsed and got back on drugs, but we didn't know it. So we lost our house. And so we had to move into, this is right before I went to Jackson State. We had to move in with my grandmother. And my grandmother lived there with her boyfriend. It was like a 3-bedroom house. So my mother had her bedroom with her boyfriend. My grandmother had her bedroom with her boyfriend. And me and my my youngest little brother lived in the same bedroom. And so 6 people in the house, my youngest little brother, he's about 11. No, not even 11. He's like 9. How old are you in the 5th grade? Somewhere in the 5th grade. Yeah, he's like 9. So so I'm supposed to clean the kitchen. No, not clean the kitchen. This is a different story. I'm sorry. I'm in there cleaning the kitchen. And I hear my mother and my grandmother not arguing, but they're having a very deep conversation about their relationship. And so the house is quiet because this is a deep conversation. So everybody is kind of letting them do their thing because this is a much needed conversation that they might need to have. And so my mother is crying and spilling her guts out. Like, I just wanted you to be a mother because I loved you and I always wanted to be in your life and I wanted you to love me and be proud of me. Like, she is crying and in a way that she hasn't done this before. Like, this is a moment. This is a I don't know. This is a breakthrough or something. Something's happening that never has happened before. This is a deep conversation that they needed to have that they never had. And so my mother is expressing her love for my grandmother, how she just wanted her to be, and this was the relevance to Tina. I'm trying to bring it back. um, her love for her mother was all she wanted. She wanted her to love her and be proud of her and be in her life and blah, 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 blah. And she's crying. And it's not like angry. It's like a real tearful, open my heart to you. Like if it was my daughter, like I would have felt like I would have got up and hugged her. That's the emotion that I was getting. Like I wanted to go hug my mother. Like she's not like, I just wanted you in my life. And it's not like that. It's tender and soft and tearful and just like, oh, I am pouring my little girl. I know I'm a grown woman now, but the little girl in me has come forward and she is serenading you. A moment. Do you know my grandmother looked at my mother in this moment? Now, even if I do believe that what she was saying is true. But this is what I mean, like she has no tact or no filter. Even if you felt that this is not the moment to say it, she sat there while my mother is giving this moment to her. She sat there and said, Deanna, my mother's name was Deanna. Deanna, I didn't want children. That's why I gave you to my mother. I didn't want children. I didn't want you as a child. I didn't want you. So what you're asking me for, I couldn't give to you because I didn't want to be that to you. I didn't want a child. A child would have ruined my life. It did ruin my life. Now I'm in the kitchen washing dishes while this is going on. And I put the dishes down and I come out. And I look at my grandmother and I see my mother's face. Now, mind you, I already don't like my grandmother. And then this is my mother who has been in my life that you are hurting right now. I want to fight you. For real, I want to bash you for real. But I digress. I say, like she's literally pouring her heart out to you. And you said that? You could have said nothing. You could have sat there and said, I know, Moochie. And just what you saying may be true, but this moment right here was not the time to tell her this. If her heart was broken, you just obliterated it. You just stomped on it. Even if you're telling the truth, even if that's your real feelings, this moment is not the time to tell that. You are, and this is when I got ugly. You are the dirtiest bitch in the world. You are the dirtiest dog-headed. I was very Snoop Dogg about it. You're a dog-head ass bitch. You are the dirtiest, most heartless dog-head ass bitch that I ever met in my fucking life. That you would sit in front of your child who just bared her soul to you and tell her that you did not want her. You are the dirtiest bitch. And that's exactly why you are in the situation that you are in. Why you got all these health problems, all this shit. You are the most evilest bitch that I ever seen. And you need to let her go. Like I'm 18 years old telling my mama this. You need to let this bitch go. She does not give a fuck about you. Because if she could sit here and tell you that after what you just shared with her, after the way you shared it with her, you're never going to get what you want, mama. You are never going to get what you want, ever. And my grandmother was like, I'm just telling the truth. Now she's crying. I'm just telling the truth. What do you expect for me to do? Have a heart? Even if that's the truth, baby, you just didn't need to say it like that. In this moment, you could have just been quiet. You could have just said you understand. Thank you for sharing that with me, Deanna. Thank you for sharing it. You did not need. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I hated it. And so, what that part of the about the Tina Turner movie, what that part when they was talking about her mother and her mother's relationship, and how her mother got on there and was almost praising her, but behind the scenes, you don't give a fuck about her accomplishment. You just want money. And we got a hint about that when it comes to remember when Ike gave her the money and told her, like I need you to be okay with this and let her come with me, and paid her the money. She had always been money hungry. She had always been, you know, that's who Tina Turner's mother was. She just, I really didn't want my daughter. She just so happened to become this superstar with money. So of course I'm going to use her. And then Tina being a person who has been broken and bruised and beat and unloved and felt ugly and she's trying to buy her mother's love. I got her a house. I got her this and I got her that. I'm trying to do all that I can in the same way my mother did. My mother wasn't rich at all, but she would break her fucking neck trying to please this woman. And I used to be like, girl, you better than me. And I even told that to my mom. I said, baby, if you expecting that from me, don't. Because there's a limit with me. You can't harm me. Not that I expected it from my mother, but honey, I'm not going to be that girl. You do some wrong shit to me, I'm not fucking with you no more. So don't even play in my face. I don't know if I could ever say that to my child, even if it were true or if that's how I felt. That's something most don't come back from emotionally. Exactly, Thrifty. That is the truth. Like you're saying that just really is quite annoying. It's heartless. It's no type of empathy at all. Even if it's true. You had no type of tact or filter to make that more tender. You are the trashiest ass bitch. And I think that's why she didn't like me, because she didn't have that control or that whatever that hold of my mama that she had. She didn't have it with me. So we used to bump heads, bump heads. But that's kind of how mothers, toxic mothers. Like there's tons of, we know, to me, this is, what I feel. We know that there are toxic fathers. We know that there are toxic fathers either that have abandoned their children or they're abusive, blah, 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 blah. But there are also toxic mothers out here that just ain't shit. They just ain't shit. I'm so glad that my mother wasn't like that. My mother had some toxicity, but it wasn't about her love for us. And my mother had an addiction, so sometimes my mother's toxicness came through her being neglectful. She was neglectful. It was wild to me that Tina thought that she was ugly. Those archive image videos were gorgeous to me. She's still a beautiful woman to me. Yeah, she's always been beautiful. But that, it don't matter. You're not seeing the images of yourself. Like somebody could be telling you you're cute, but I'm pretty sure nobody. I don't want to say what was happening, but people who think like Tina Turner, who I have met, that think about themselves like Tina Turner, and I'm looking at them like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. How could you not think you're beautiful? It is because two things. Have y'all read? Hold on, I'm gonna try to show y'all the book. This Gregory. Oh, I'm holding up Gregory Mcguire. It's supposed to be a picture right there, but I done tore the page out. Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister by Gregory Mcguire. So this book is based. It's based on the Cinderella story. Cinderella. It's based on the Cinderella story, but this is like the Cinderella story reimagined, and it's a critique on beauty. It's really a critique on beauty. It's about the overall arching theme is a critique on beauty, and this book is. Let me see. I fucking love this book. It is amazing. It just gave me let me try to let me try to oh no, I have to give y'all the link. Yes. So that's to the book if you want to get it. So yes, Confessions of a Ugly Stepsister. It basically, I don't want to ruin the story, but the main character in here, this is from the point of view of one of the stepsisters. And there's a plot twist and, some stuff that this is just remember, this is a reimagined. I don't want to ruin it if you haven't read it. It's a wonderful book of fiction. He's amazing. And so it's a critique of beauty. And one of the things that the ongoing themes in the book is about, somebody who is not, they're not beautiful, but they're not ugly. They're like the regular chick. Like they don't have anything wrong with them to where you would be like, it's ugly. They're kind of just like the plain Jane. They're not this gorgeous face beauty and da 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 da. They're not that. They're just plain. They're just regular. And then sometimes the people who fall into that regular realm of beauty, some people would look at them because of their particular taste and be like, God, they are so gorgeous to me. Because what they like about them is whatever is considered plain. And we all know that beauty is in the beholder. But there's a lot of times that those people that's in that middle range, like for example, let's say between like a 7, if you're rating a person from 10, 1 to 2, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. Those people in like the 5 to 7 range, they may be average to a lot of people, but there are some people who are going to look at a 5 to 7 and be like, God, they are gorgeous, because there might be certain things about their face, certain things about their look that they particularly like. That particular person, the beholder that is looking at them, like say you got you got some kind of uniqueness about you. Like for example, I think Brandy Norwood, I think Brandy is exceptionally beautiful. There are people who don't think that, but I think Brandy, there's something about Brandy's face that, from my own personal taste, she is one of the beauties of my life. Now, other people be like, what? Brandy? Or whatever. But it's something about what I like in people's faces. There's something about Brandy that stands out for me. You get what I'm saying? It's something about her that's like, oh my God, you fucking gorgeous to me. Like looking at her, she's gorgeous. Hey, Michelle. Um, but somebody else could say that she's like average. Oh, she cool. She's like average. There's certain people that can fit in an average range that some people would think they're above average, and then some people would think they are below average because they don't fit a certain type of beauty. They don't look like Halle Berry. And then you got some people who just fit like a universally beauty. Like I think Gabrielle Union, Halle Berry, I think women like them are like universally beautiful. Like most people are gonna think that their face is pretty. Not every single person in the world, but more than likely somebody like Gabrielle Union, Halle Berry, even speaking of Tina Turner, Angela Bassett, like it's certain. The reason why they are movie stars is because they have a universal beauty that a lot of people will find attractive. And so, and then some people have like this middle ground that some people are going to find it attractive, and some people are not going to find it attractive. They have it may be an approachable beauty, not like there was this fake approachable beauty that the fucking fashion industry of particularly of the 80s and the 90s that was selling, that they were calling girl next door, but it wasn't no fucking approachable beauty. It was like Cindy Crawford. She was fucking beautiful. She wasn't. They were selling it as girl next door, but bitch, I ain't seen no bitches that look like you next door to me. I didn't see regular white bitches running around looking like Cindy Crawford. Like, girl, that ain't girl next door. Like, they try to sell it and dressing up as girl next door. Just regular beach babe tipping down the street. No, that's not no regular bitch that I'm seeing tipping down the street. Does that make sense to y'all? So, but there is a certain type of beauty that I don't see. I know me personally, I don't see a bunch of Gabrielle Unions running around. I don't see a bunch of bitches that look like Gabrielle Union running around. That is not an everyday girl next door beauty. I don't think. Who else? Even a Lupita. I know that we on this this renaissance where we are acknowledging dark skinned girls' beauty as we should be. But I don't see Lupita's running around. She doesn't have she's exceptionally beautiful. She's like, wow, like her lip shape, her bone structure, everything is like, oh my God, you are exquisite. You don't see that just walking up to you. Megan Good, another universally pretty woman. Lupita is exceptionally beautiful, but yes, it's not your normal average dark skinned girl. She is like, oh my God. It's like, wow. Like you bitch, you are exceptional. Beyonce universally pretty. Yes. Megan. Very just that upper echelon. You have people that are like that. But there are some people who are kind of like in that mid range that are like, some people are gonna love it and some people are gonna hate it. They're in that 7-6-5 range. And this book talks about that. And most people, I've seen people who have that average kind of beauty, to me, have that average kind of beauty. And I could look at them and I'm like, you're exceptional to me, but you're not universally pretty like some other girls. And when I look at them and I talk to them, it's because most people around them were not appreciating their beauty. They were not appreciating them, and they didn't see people around reflecting their particular type of beauty. I mean, around that time, you know, around her growing up, she didn't have those type of beauty. They had fucking Dorothy Dandridge. They had who was exceptional, who was light skinned, exceptionally pretty. They had fucking Lena Horne, all that kind of shit. That that colorist shit. So the world wasn't reflecting them in a way. It wasn't until somebody that could look a superstar that could possibly look like Tina Turner, maybe was like Foxy Brown, and they didn't come to like the 70s. Who else that they that they that they put on a pedestal as a beauty? Like you had, of course, like the Sarah Vaughns, and you had people, but they didn't put them on the pedestal for their beauty. They put Sarah Vaughan on the pedestal because of her voice. You get what I'm saying? Like even like Ella Fitzgerald, they put them on pedestal not because of their voice. Actually, the bitches who was fucking put on a pedestal because of their beauty, their voice wasn't even hitting on shit. You look at Lena Horne, you look at Dorothy Dandridge, they could hold a tune, but their voice wasn't hitting on nothing. They were in their positions because they were beautiful. So if we're looking at what they had to what they even the Diana Ross, Diana Ross had a beauty about her, but it was like a unique beauty. Like it was a unique. She had those waif eyes and those interesting eyes. She had this uniqueness about her. Whitney was probably the first to have both. Yeah. If I'm trying to think of other ones that came before Whitney, because even Aretha, she had a voice, but she wasn't exceptionally beautiful. I'm trying to think of who came up that had both. It probably first was Whitney. Actually, that really was because Whitney was sickening. She had mug and voice. Mariah, I don't find Mariah to be beautiful. I don't know. It may be my own personal taste. I don't. I guess by standards she might be. I don't know. I don't find Mariah to be beautiful. But Whitney was fucking gorgeous. She was fucking sickening. Her teeth, her fucking bone structure, her face. She just was that bitch and had the voice. Yeah, I don't find Mariah to be. Yeah, that's what I think, Saint. I don't think that she is. This might be problematic. I don't know. Um, Mahalia Jackson was the first mug and voice. Okay. The beauty is in the high of the beholder. Um, Donna Summers. Donna Summers. Maybe. Mariah's. Yeah, Mariah. It. Let me say this. This might be problematic, but you know how everybody's like not everybody, but people like just light skin don't make you pretty. Just I know a lot of girls who are light skinned but they ain't pretty. Mariah to me is somebody who you have all the things that you're supposed to have to be the pretty mixed girl, but it's not coming together for me. You got the hair, the curly hair, you got light skin, you got the ambiguous look, but it's not doing it for me. Like it's not giving me stunning beauty. I'm sorry. Like she could be put together. She could got her makeup on sickening in the same. I feel like whoever does RuPaul's makeup does Mariah's makeup. Could they get her together? I think that she looks beat. When she got the light shining on her and her hair is perfectly done and it's blowing in the wind and she got the spotlight and her videos and she's doing the butterfly and the light is shining and she's on the tree and oh, 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 and the wind is blowing. When she give it all of that, honey, she be looking sickening. But she just it's not what it is for me. She has all the ingredients of beauty, but they just didn't cook it right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I just don't get it so, baby. Yeah, she be looking sickening in her videos, but yeah, it just doesn't give me. But who don't look sickening in their videos? Who don't look sickening in their videos? She's not a natural beauty to me. It's not that I think she's ugly. No, I don't think that she's ugly. I just think she needs all the things. I think I don't know, but beauty is in the eye of the eye of the beholder. So if she's sickening to you, let her continue to be sickening. She gives me no life in the beauty department. Um, Remember, my mom used to get angry at people who said she resembled Tina Turner. My mom looked like a lighter skinned Dominican version of Tina. Years later, she came to appreciate that beauty. Yeah, I think because you know, I think Tina falls in that area of beauty where she's a 7, but to some people she's gonna be like, oh my god, she looks stunning, and then some people be like, and she didn't come up in the time when it was just all done up. Everybody was all done up. Um, no, not Mariah's body is it for me. Now Mariah's body is it for me. Like her body was late for me. Ooh, I did not live. I did not live. No, thank you. I don't want none of. But I only thing that was sickening about Mariah was her voice and range. That was what it was for me. But this ain't about Mariah. This is about Tina. We're not. This is not going to turn into a Mariah shade session. Because I live for she's not ugly. It's not ugly. It's just that she's regular, and when she put on her stuff, it takes her up to whatever you think she is, and it's not a 10 for me. Impressive. She was giving you social worker realness. Mama earned 10s for that performance. Yeah, she didn't have no makeup, and she wasn't done, and she was looking like a regular, degular, unattractive biracial woman. To me, you know. Y'all are a mess. Mariah is regular, not ugly, without the glam. Mimi is basic. I feel like she's under basic, Deshaun. Um, Mariah is sexy. You can tell she was teased younger. She gave deep tease in the 90s. Probably, I believed all that she said. But I think that's why she was like she was, because she wasn't a beauty as a mixed girl. Janet had mug and voice. Janet had mug and voice. That's a good. Okay. Let me think. Janet had a gorgeous smile. Yeah, I can't. Yes, Janet had mug and voice. I can't deny her mug. Her mug is sickening. Madonna had mug and voice. I don't know about Madonna. Madonna had a unique beauty like Sarah Stone. She had that gap. She had that. Yeah, Janet had mug. You can't. That's undeniable. But Janet came after Whitney. Voice. I don't know about Jenna had a unique tone that was unique to her. That whatever she did it well on the tracks that Jimmy and Terry Jam was making. Now, voice. I don't dislike it, but it ain't nothing that nobody else can do. Well, I guess I don't know. It's unique. I like Janet's voice, but it's not some standout voice that I'm be like, oh, it's one of the greatest singers of all time. No, Janet is more of a overall entertainer for me. But yes, she definitely had mug. Her mug is undeniable. I did live for Janet mug. I had to think about when I saw her mug and was like, damn, she looks stunning. Um, the That's the Way Love Goes video. Really, that whole era. That's the Way Love Goes. Never fall again. That video when she was in them jeans and that little spaghetti strap top. Oh, she looked so pretty. I get so lonely when she had the curly red velvet. The velvet rope era when she had the red curly. When she was run away with me, my love. Yeah, 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 yeah. When she was on the elephant and had the thing on her nose. Bitch, Janet Mug is sick to gas, honey. Janet gave you a look. So yes, Janet Mug. I don't know about voice, but y'all get Poetic Justice Janet. Yes, Poetic Justice. Janet's mug, like Poetic Justice Janet. When you see Poetic Justice without the mug, just with the braids, you get the same Janet that you get in Pleasure Principle. The same Janet that, yeah, she got on makeup in some of these things, but Janet don't look so much different from herself that it looks like a total different person. Mariah Carey looks like a total different person when she's out of makeup and when she's in makeup. That's the difference. Poetic Justice Janet is just as beautiful as her done-up Janet. Jan definitely ate Mariah mug-wise. Yes, definitely. Not seeing it for Jennifer face. What? Child. No. Janet was nothing to play with mug-wise. Yeah, I don't know what y'all talk about. I don't know what you talk about, so baby. If you don't see Janet mug, bitch, voice, I'll play. If you don't see her voice, I'll play with you. But Janet's mug, honey, come on. We go in a whole different direction. Aaliyah was stunning. Yes, she had just a natural beauty to her. Aaliyah was stunning. Janet used her voice as the best she could. She could dance down. You roasted the girls tonight. I thought this was about Tina. Honey. Nobody is roasting. We just went in a different direction. You know, it is the last 40 minutes. That's what happens. Janet would be a choir member, not a soloist in the black church. A white church might be a soloist, maybe. Janet needs to be done up more than Mariah. You a lie. You are a lie. You a lie, and the truth ain't in you. Kiki White is a voice. To me, she just never had a good team. True. Janet, and she's too churchy. Churchy doesn't sell pop unless you tone it down, particularly in this era. Now, back in the day, churchy did sell rhythm and blues, but in this era, R&B ain't popping. So you have to know how to versatile. She hasn't hit that market. Janet can't give you wash face. You are a lie. She gave you wash face in Poetic Justice and was Sydney. What are you talking about? Janet was, yes, we ain't even gonna play with you. Now, Aaliyah was the one. She was beautiful. She didn't have a voice. Aaliyah was the one. She has a natural beauty that makeup or no makeup on Aaliyah looks Sydney. Neither can me. Mariah gives you wash face. You is a lie. Wash face wear. Show. Have you saw Precious? That was wash face, and that was not Sydney. They had to use makeup to make her ugly and Precious. Child. I've seen Mariah. Mariah is not. No. So, baby, you is delusional. Quiet as it kept, Dionne Warwick was gorgeous at her day. Dionne Warwick is gorgeous now. She was gorgeous. I think Dionne Warwick is an exceptional beauty. I think she comes from a line of beautiful women. Sade is another mug, absolutely. You can't, undeniable. Yes, Aaliyah was y'all going fast. Aaliyah was nothing special to me in the voice in her mug department. I think Aaliyah was naturally beautiful. I think she's I don't, her voice, no. Her voice was, okay, girl. But that mug, child, she was, with or without makeup, Aaliyah was beautiful. I've been salty because y'all not gonna do Mariah. Girl, you might be all alone on your branch, alone with the other lambs. Yes, have you seen Mariah in Precious? Honey, I've seen Mariah in person. Yeah, is a vocal beast. No shade. Angela Bassett is the GOAT. I thought she was Tina Turner for years. Absolutely, she is. Jenna had a little nose work, right? I want my nose done. Definitely nose work. Mariah is not wash face ever. That's like saying Dolly Parton is wash face. Yeah, Warwick is a classic beauty. No one would touch her in her prime. Facts. Monica face and mug all day. Yes. I Monica has a voice that I don't like. She does have a voice that a lot of people like. I don't like it. But her mug, Monica is a beautiful woman despite her ghoulish ways. Yes, Monica is gorgeous. Um, I remember hearing that Jennifer Lewis was in running to play Tina Turner too. That would be in a whole different movie. It was shady how they made her the mama instead. I think she was better as the mama. She plays mamas much better. Diamond, I need a story like you used to tell them I miss your stories. I have tons of videos. I usually always tell some type of story in my newest videos as well. Um, I also did a new Love Beneath video last month. I think it wasn't last month. Yeah, now in March. And I also am about to start a series where I tell stories about my escort years, and that will be for members only. Yes, Brandy is definitely giving me mug, alien mug. Yeah, she has a unique look. Her eyes are a little bit separated apart. But you know who is else looks like that? Haley from Chloe and Haley. Haley's eyes. Haley's face remind me of y'all remember that movie called Splice? That little thing that they made called Dren. She looks like that to me. I can't wait till she plays. I can't wait till she plays. Like look at this. I'm gonna cut my lights up. I'm gonna show y'all because I pulled up the receipts. So this is Haley, right? Hmm. She's pretty, right? But this is Ren. She gives me Dren. Yeah, she looks like Dren to me. Every time I see Haley, I think she's gonna wear Ariel out, but I think she gives me Dren. She's pretty, but she gives me Dren. Dren did steal that lady's man, honey. She gave that honey that spliced puss baby, and she was over it, baby. Let me see. Let me go up and read. Monica can sing. She just overdoes it. Absolutely. Hey, y'all. I watched Tina and cried. I did too. I cried at the part when she says, nobody, what did she say? Nobody in this life. The woman, the beautiful woman that I see, how can nobody, I can't remember the exact word, but basically nobody is seeing the beautiful woman and appreciating it, who I am. That made me cry too. I was always a fan, but when she said her mother and father never loved her, I could relate. I can't relate to that, but I can relate to feeling like no one appreciate the woman that I am in that loving kind of way. It's always toxic ass motherfuckers. Um, how do you become a member? Because I want to go back and rewatch the last night live. You just hit join. Hey, Amara. I love that fabric that you sent. I love that fabric. I'll send you some ideas soon. I just been working a lot because it's Trans Week of Action and Trans Day of Visibility. So I've been working and doing panels, getting paid for them. So it's good money. Um, but yes, I have been doing a lot of stuff. Um, her voice and look is unique. Um, Thank you, Deshaun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She does. Her sister Chloe gives body and face days. Baby Chloe, honey, Miss Thing is 60. Baby, Miss Chloe. It's not that I don't think Haley is pretty, because they're both pretty in their own unique ways. But that motherfucking Haley, I feel like her mug, it's something about her mug that's kind of averagey, but that body, woo, that body is hitting on something, baby. In terms of at the end. Hey, Brandon, you'll have a peaceful night. So when does the premiere YouTube thing start? I don't know what the premium YouTube thing is. I don't think I don't YouTube. They don't. I'm just not in. I like the live setup because I can actually engage with y'all like this in regards to that. So I like it. So that. But as far as honey making content, just open and free like I used to, as far as like just I'm gonna do my live for free and of course love beneath da 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 da. But y'all they they play too many games when it comes to money. I don't want them. The work that I give is gonna be on Patreon. And then here it's gonna be the series that I do. I'm not giving YouTube play too many games. I did a video the other day, and we didn't even talk about nothing bad. Um, I think if you go to any, I think if you go to any video, right on the bottom it says join. I'm not 100 for sure how that works, how to join, but Deshaun just did it. Um, when does the series start? I'm 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 recording one on Monday. Whenever me and Mia and Z do our whenever we schedule our recording, I'm gonna record that day after it. And then so definitely by the end of April, that's when it's gonna start. Definitely gonna be April, and I'm gonna try to do one once a month about um once a month after that. It's going to be similar to the Love Beneath series. It's just going to be rooted in my sex worker years. It's not going to be rooted in like my past. Well, it's my past, but my it's not going to be rooted in like my relationships when I was younger with men. It's going to be rooted specifically in my history with sex work. I'm going to talk about clients. I'm going to talk about some of my famous clients. I'm not going to say any names, so don't expect me to say any names. I'm not going to say any names. Um, that's not my tea because some people I still know and I still get coins from. So yeah, y'all not about to mess up my coins. Um, but yes, so it'll be all my. I was an escort for 5 years, exclusively for 5 years. I'm going to talk. My very first video is going to be my very first trick that I ever had. the first time that I ever charged somebody for any sex. And then we're going to go, then it turns into all the life of the escort. I'm going to talk about how to not get caught. I'm going to talk about the rules of escorting. I'm going to talk about anything that I learned from escorting on how to make money and how to hustle in escorting. I'm going to share my experiences with the men and share my tips and techniques of that. So, if you're interested, that's what it's going to be. Dang, I'm going to have to Google how to join the member stuff. Who's paying you? Your worth is overdue. Joining the Patreon too. Thank you. I had to join on my Android phone. I also have an iPhone and it doesn't show up to join. But we know Ashanti got at least two voices because one of them always finds their way to J-Lo's tracks. Right, J-Lo is the real Ursula, stealing everybody's voice. Word out. I've always wanted to know how to not get caught. Yep, it's quite easy. You just got to follow the rules. What's your view on Ariana Grande? Do you think she's blackfishing? Do you think she can sing? I do think she can sing. Blackfishing. I have an issue with the whole. I think there's a difference between what Ariana Grande does and what what's her name? Rachel Dolezal does. I think there's a distinctive difference from that. I think people have been, because I've been the white people that not like I've been around a million white people, but seeing them in certain areas of the country, tanning to be tan like that is quite normal in white culture. And it's not necessarily that they want to be black. They want to look more exotic. They don't want to be Lupita dark. They want to be beachy tan babe California dark. I want to look like I've been to the beach and I've been on vacation. They want that tan kind of look, that exotic, maybe mixed look, but they don't really want to look black. And I think sometimes the conversation is, oh, they want to look like us and they want to look like our skin, but they don't want to be that dark. They don't want to be dark like, dark, what we consider dark. They want to be exotic. They want to be, I want to look like I've been on vacation and I've been to the beach and I've been to, I'm Brazilian, especially now that the white passing people of color like are getting more popular. Same thing happened when Cher was on her show back in the day when she was, playing up her Native American, doing the bust down. She was a different type of beauty that they were celebrating. It was an uptick in the brunette beauties, and Cher was tan with this long, slick hair. Then we had the, what was her name? Gail. What's that girl with the black hair? That old school girl, something Gail, Dorothy Gail. I don't remember her name. I can't remember. Something Gail. Her last name was Gail. But she had a bust down and super, super straight black hair. And, they want to be that. They don't want to look black. And I know sometimes black people be like, oh, they want to have our skin. I know they don't. They don't want to have our skin. They want to look spicy white. They want to look other. Yes, absolutely, Alec. They don't want to look black. They don't want to look like Lupita. They don't want to look like Gabrielle. They might want to look they want to look a step up above Holly Berry, and Holly Berry is kind of much browner than your average mixed girl to me. Um, but they want to look like other exotic, even Italian. They don't want to look like African. They want to look like Italian, tan. I've been to the beach. But yes, let me see. What did I want to, before I get off the Tina Turner, before we go to other stuff? The last thing that I wanted to talk about was about Tina Turner before we leave, because this was about Tina Turner. Did y'all see the part? There was a part of it where, she had left him and took her name. She had left him and took her name, and she was kind of working in Vegas and working these shows and really hustling. She's an old head now, and they didn't know what to do with her. They didn't know what to where they was gonna go with her life. You feel what I'm saying? With her career, not her life, with her career. And so there was a decision made to put her story out there to help, to put it in people and boost it, create this movie, create this career, da 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 da, put it in people, all this kind of stuff. So she used her story with Ike to kind of reboost and refuel her career, but then at the same time, she didn't like that they always brought up Ike. And I thought that was like, that's the double-edged sword of, paparazzi and tabloids and, bad publicity and, that kind of stuff, because celebrities don't mind using it when it's trying to revive their career. But once they make it to the top, they like, oh, they like the Oprah meme. They're like, they don't like it. Oh, y'all always talking about the Ike and Tina Turner, but this is what made you famous. This is what put you on the next level. Yeah, you had these songs, this Private Dancer album, but the reason why it boosted up is because you used people and you used that story to give, you use that story to give your career life. Ariana is Italian, actually. Yeah, she is Italian. She is. That's why I don't think it's the same thing with Ariana. Not that that makes a difference. Italian is still white to me. In America, it still has. They have, back in the day, being Italian and being Irish and being those things could marginalize you. But once they got indoctrinated into whiteness, they white too. Oh, that was a gag, bitch. That man called her a nigger douchebag that when she was in between her fame. I was over it. Baby, I gagged when they say that. I said, he recorded that and they played it. I was like, he recorded that. Like, why did you sign this nigger douchebag? Wasn't that crazy? When he said that, I was gagged. It's crazy how she still has never seen the movie, but nobody wants to see their trauma played out on screen. I got that, but I didn't like the idea of you using the story to gain publicity and then you getting the attitude when people bring it up. When you get tired of them bring it up. Oh, I'm going to make this movie so people can stop asking me about it. But you didn't mind telling about it when it was the key to reviving your career. This is when you use these kind of tactics, not your talent, to revive your career. Then that's what they're gonna talk about it, child. They're gonna talk about the tea. Well, I don't think she needs to see the movie. I don't think she needs to see, because if she played a part in telling the movie, why would she need to see it? Like, it'd be different if she didn't play a part in the creation of the movie. She did. So she knows what happened. She probably didn't think it would follow her throughout her entire career. So why would it not? I don't know why she thought that. Yes, I agree. You can escape your past. It stays with us. I think she was annoyed because she was still hurting and hadn't made peace with it. Hmm. I don't know. I think she was annoyed because the shit was getting old, and I understand that. It was getting old, and it was like, damn, I got that's years ago, and I'm tired of talking about that shit. I'm tired of talking about it. Why now that I have became a star, now that I have I have sold out arenas, I have, finally my own number one with Tina. Tina's number one. Now that I have proven myself, this is my first album by myself without me having a success. Y'all calling it a comeback, but it's actually not a comeback. It's the first time y'all seeing me. This is my first debut that you're seeing Tina. Why are y'all talking about Ike? At this point, it gets to a point where it got to that point where, okay, why are we still talking about Ike? I am now a bona fide superstar on my own, so we shouldn't be talking about Ike. But you revived your career based on your situation with Ike, so people are going to ask you. I remember seeing that part when they kept asking her about it, and she was having those flashbacks and had to get a fan to cool herself off. I love how they did that. But I think she was just being cunty at the interview. How do you reconcile with the devil? How could Tina get closure? Ike was trash. I don't know. I think sometimes closure isn't about the person that caused the trauma. Sometimes closure is about you forgiving yourself from being in the situation. Because sometimes you can blame yourself, or maybe I should have left, or maybe I shouldn't have did this, or maybe me. And so you have an internal, you got to forgive yourself. Like you're holding yourself hostage to the shame of being in that situation. And it can make you feel weak. It can make you feel, whack. Like, how the fuck a strong ass bitch like me got in that situation? I remember Rihanna talking about that with Diane Sawyer when she did an interview about right after her Chris Brown situation. You feel like I'm strong. Like I'm not what the stereotype is about somebody who would get attacked. You know what I'm saying, by their man. And I know even though he went overboard, I know that I had some feistiness in me too. But I just don't want to feel like that weak person. I just don't. How could I be in this situation? And you know, you gotta forgive yourself and know that this ain't your fault, and know that it doesn't make you a weak person. You just was a person in a situation, in a domestic violence situation. Have any of y'all ever been in a domestic violence situation? Did y'all see it coming? Like, did y'all have warning? So any type of domestic violence situation that I was in, there were warnings. There were red flags where I was like, And maybe because I had grew up with my mom and she had gone through, those kind of domestic violence situations. I had a sense of what a red flag was when it was talking about violence. So I had warning signs. I didn't leave, so I won't say I ignored them, but it wasn't like I ignored them and was like I definitely twirl back. I never was in a situation where somebody fought me and they were just beating me and I wasn't fighting back, child. I was twirling back. Twirling back, and honey, it lasted for a while. Like, you can't sleep around me, I'm throwing hot water on your ass. Like, it's a whole different thing for me. My strategy for me when I was in relationship that were abusive, my strategy was, I'm gonna go so nuts on you that the next time you think about it, you're gonna remember. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't you beating me up. It was, I know that I'm gonna have to really fight this person. This ain't, oh, I'm a smacker and she gonna be like, oh, oh, oh. It's not like that. It is, honey. If you, even if because I'm never gonna be with a dude that I feel like I can whoop. Because how you going? I got this weird thing about, I want my man to be protective. I want my man to be protective. So I'm never gonna be with a dude who I think I can beat up. Because if I can beat you up, if we out on the street and a nigga, you gotta fight for me, honey. If I can beat you up, nigga, what I'm gonna have you for? That's how, still toxic patriarchy. But that's how I kind of think. So I'm always with dudes who are bigger than I am and stronger than I am. So I'm never gonna be in a situation where I'm expecting to go hands up with you and fight you and beat you. No, I'm a bitch that's gonna mace you, grab a pipe, beat your knees, and I'm sneaky with it because I know I can't beat you hands up. You a grown ass man that has lived as a man, that has fucking done man ass thing, football and lifting weights. So that I ain't never done none of that fucking shit. So I don't have the strength that you have. No, I'm not playing with you. So I'm going to, honey, disadvantage you. You might smack me, and I might let you smack me in that moment. But knowing for sure, when you at least expecting it, I'm wearing your ass out. You gonna learn. You gonna learn that I'm not the one to just hit. Let's see. Right. What were some of the red flags? Not hitting me, but hitting things. Like if you hit walls when you get angry, honey, to me, that's a red flag that eventually it's gonna be me. Any kind of disrespect, anything that physically went too far, physically. And maybe it might not be a punch, but it might be a shove into a wall, a throw a glass against the wall, a punch a wall, anything, any type of anger that comes out into a physical act, to me is a red flag. Aggression progressing more and more before they assault you. Yes, it just keeps getting further and further where you like, ooh, is this nigga about to hit me? Diamond on her tongue, your heart and shit. Baby, I will wear your knees out. Where, honey, the next day you might be limping. You got some cracks in your shin. You wore out. You're going to, because I almost feel like they're testing you. Like if you let them hit you, they're testing how far they can go. Bap. And then if you let them keep going, they can go further. No, you're going to know that you can't keep your mitts to yourself. You're not going to come out this like normal. Like you're not going to come out of this situation and not have some type of pain inflicted on you. I'm going to sneak your ass so much. I'm going to sneak you. I don't fight niggas. I don't fight, if you want me to be real, I don't fight anybody fairly. Because I believe there's no rules in love and war. So if you love somebody, break the rules to get your love, baby. If you hate somebody and you want to fight them, break the rules to win that war. There is no rules in love and war because the point is to win. And so if I'm at war with you, I'm not going to be fair. I'm not going to be fair. No, fuck out of here. I'm going to disadvantage you in some kind of way. That part you going to learn. You are going to remember that sting I gave you. Absolutely. That is exactly what it is, CL. As soon as you think, oh, damn, I'm going to have to fight this bitch for real. She might let me hit me, but I better not sleep in this house. I'm going to wake up to some grits. I'm going to wake up to some grease. I'm going to wake up to some... I had a man that took out the violence on our puppy. I had to put him down eventually because she became a biter. Oh, that's sad that you had to put her down because he was fighting her. Fighting. There are rules in war, but in love, I don't know. Honey, ain't no rules in war. I don't know where you got that from. If I'm trying to win and you are my enemy and we are at war, ain't no rules. I'm going to use bio warfare. I'm going to use nuclear warfare. I'm going to use whatever it is to win. I'm going to sneak. I'm going to do spy, espionage, creep somebody in from the back. I'm going to hit you while you ain't paying attention. It ain't no rules in war. I don't know where y'all get. Ain't no rules in any kind of war. Ain't no rules in any kind of war. People are, if they're trying to win a war, it is the strategy. It is the tactic to do whatever it takes to win. There's no rules. I would kill a man if he was beating on my puppy. I'm surprised as hell you didn't. No, I don't have none of that. Not none of my animals. They didn't harm our animals. So, how overall did y'all like the documentary? I thought they really did a good job. I love how at the end she came back over to America and was able to watch that play that was done about her life. I thought that was amazing. Victoria Hall, who is that? Which one was that? The one that did the play? I think that was a good part. Oh yeah, I thought that was a good part. Word, come on. I thought Patrick Pope did P Valley. I didn't know a woman did that one. It was a great farewell to her fans, so she wants to blow out of the spotlight. And I think that's good. I was thinking about Beyonce recently, and I was thinking about all the people who had an equal span of career. You know, because Beyonce came out mid-90s, right? And here we are in 2020. So that's like 25 years, right? I think that Beyonce has one more good album in her. She can have one more good album in her, and then she's gonna have to go. I think she should go and just be like a philanthropist. Because I'm thinking about Michael Jackson. You got about a good 25, 30-year run before you start being, you know, you can come out and do stuff, but I'm talking about you being at the peak of your career. People who are in the veins of Whitney, Michael, Beyonce, um, people who have these epic careers. I think that you got about a 25 to 30-year run. Because when was Michael Jackson's last good album? Invincible, maybe? Was Invincible good? Did that pop the charts? Yes, I can see her developing talent and start getting behind the scenes. Absolutely. Because I think the last album that I think Michael did that was like, this is the motherfucking king of pop, was probably like whenever he did Scream. Mm, was the Invincible album? Yeah, whenever was Scream on Invincible? Scream Invincible album. Was it on Invincible? Yeah. Yeah, so I think Scream was the last time we felt that kind of well, to me, I don't know about y'all, but Scream was the last time that I felt like this is the motherfucking king of pop. This is the king. Michael was the king at that time. But he did another album after that, right? I thought he did another album that it start or Invincible was it is where it kind of didn't do as well as like Remember the Time and that era. So I think, and that was like, when did Invincible come out? Let me check. Invincible, Michael Jackson.
According to Wikipedia, Invincible is the 10th and final studio album by American singer Michael Jackson, released on October 30th, 2001 by Epic Records.
No, Invincible was the flop. Unbreakable on History, yeah. Invincible didn't really do well compared to his other ones, right? Yeah, I think that one it didn't do well compared to. So yes, I think Beyonce, and this was 2001. So that would be if he came out in the 80s, early 80s. That's like a 30 80s to 2001. That's like a 30-year run. Come on, Issa's voice for a Google search. Right. I love Issa's voice as my Google search. um so yeah, that matches because that's like a 30-year run. That's when you're too old. Like you done got 30 years. You in your own early 20s when and we're not counting his Jackson 5 days. So we know that's why I'm not counting well, yes. So that's why I said she got one more album because I'm not counting her Destiny Child age, her Destiny Child days. So she started coming out. When did she release? She started doing her solo shit like in 2001, right? Crazy in Love and all that kind of stuff. Early 2000. So she's on her last, to me, like a good. She got one more album. 2003, yes. So she in her 20-year run. So she's in the last leg of her career. She got about, to me, I think Beyonce got one or two more big projects. And then she's gonna take her ass and sit down. She got one more than a number one album. Right. She gonna do a greatest hits, baby. I don't think Beyonce is going to stop until she gets album of the year. Yeah, I want to see one more. So Tina is going, she's bowing out gracefully. I think after your 30, 40 years, 30 years really is 30. 20, 30 years you in the game, you did your thing, you earned you impact, you impacted the music history enough to be in the Hall of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You're gonna do your thing. People can't. You're gonna live on just like Michael Jackson. People don't like to compare her to Michael Jackson. But if we're talking about on entertainment level, cultural impact level, honey, no, she's not Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is his own entity. But Beyonce is the Michael Jackson of our time. It's undeniable. Even if you don't like her, there was motherfuckers that didn't like Michael. But his impact on culture was undeniable. And honey, she's the same way. By herself, think by herself, so baby. Don't count the Ike reviews. She had Private Dancer. What other? I don't really want to fight no more. 'Cause it's time for letting go. I don't care who's wrong or right. I don't really want to fight no more. Yeah, that album did cool, but that wasn't. It was her Private Dancer album that wore it out. But she wasn't the musical genius behind Ike and Tina Turner. Ike was. That was the read of that Grammy. That was the biggest read. Blue got a Grammy before you did. But did she get a Grammy? I thought she got Grammys on some producing stuff. Carrie Hilson didn't get a Grammy on something that she wrote or produced, not on her music. Do you think Michael Jackson was a pedophile? Yes. Who do you think is the next up and coming girl superstar performer? I don't know. Nobody is standing out to me as an overall entertainer. I really like Hoey. I said Hoey. Chloe and Haley. I put the H of Haley in front of the Chloe. Freudian slip. Um, yes, I really like Chloe and Haley. I hate that they sound, not Haley, but I hate that Chloe sounds so much like Beyonce. I know that that was an inspiration, but ooh, she sounds so much like Beyonce that it's kind of, I don't want you to sound like Beyonce. I want you to sound like Chloe. But why do you think MJ is a pedo? I believe I believe the people. Not just those people. The one that was showcased in the Neverland, it was other people too that they settled out of court with that didn't have none of the stuff that they were talking about with them. I just think the way there's certain things that go beyond. Um, they said they lied. It's not about. They didn't say they lied. That's not what happened. If you watch the documentary, they tell you why they said what they said. You see what I'm saying? Like why they were like, oh, this doesn't erase some of them, not all of them. This doesn't erase some of them wanting to get coined for what they experienced. But the problem with dealing with somebody on this level of celebrity, if you try to get any kind of coins, everybody's gonna be like, see, they were looking for money. See, they were trying to get money, even though you experienced what you experienced. And this is the only way to hit them and get some kind of justice. They won't be the first one to say that they lied to get paid, even though some of the victims didn't say that they lied. And there was only one of them that was seemingly paid to lie. Yeah, there was a black one, two white ones, all the shit that was the parents catching them with their pants down, the locking of the doors in the house to where he had alarms to tell when people were coming close to his bedroom and shit like that. Mm-mm. I just didn't. I just didn't enjoy. Not enjoy. I just didn't. You know, he sounds like he was a groomer. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes, I believe them. I believe that his celebrity brought some nuances about it. Absolutely. You know, were there people trying to get paid? Sure. Were there some people that I think he molested that were trying to get paid after he molested them? Sure. I just think he's, I just believe he's a pedophile. When he was flying the kids out and how he replaced the kids at different times. Yeah, I'm sorry. All of that remind me of pedophilia. Hmm. Do you believe that Ike and Marvin Gaye were serial killers? No. No. I never even heard that rumor. It's just so disturbing. Um, the coming to their house, the flying them out for stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It's too many similar variables. It's too many that are not connected. I'm sorry. No, that's not my tea. I don't believe Mike was innocent. Yeah. Does Michael Jackson being a pedophile change your view on his artistry? No. 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 No, 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 no. No. but I didn't have to adjust my life with Michael Jackson because I've never owned like a Michael Jackson CD or a record or like I've never owned it. Like I've never bought a Michael Jackson album. So I never had to be like, oh, I have to delete his catalog off my I think the only thing that I probably owned that I bought that had Michael Jackson associated with it was The Wiz. That's probably the only thing. Yeah. By the time all this stuff come out about Michael, I was already over Michael. But I've never actually bought anything. Unlike a R. Kelly, this is the unique thing about my life and R. Kelly. R. Kelly was the soundtrack of the early years of my sexuality. So 12 play, all of that, all that time when he was, when he was in the beginning of his career, it was my it was just the soundtrack of my sexuality. Like every sexual playlist that I had growing up that I created, if I made a sex CD to play when I had my trade over, it had R. Kelly songs on it. Seems like you're ready. Sex me. He just was a part of my sexual soundtrack in my head. He got me in that mode where we like, oh, let's put some sexy music on. R. Kelly is going to go on. Because of that, I had to go through my archives and delete his music out of my thing because it feels, now that I know some shit, it feels uncomfortable. So I don't want to hear it. When I am in my like if I'm in an Uber or a Lyft and somebody gets to playing it, I will tell them to cut it off. I won't do that with Michael because Michael's music didn't do that for me. It wasn't in sexual realm. I didn't think about that about Michael. I don't know. It's just different. The songs that I like in Michael, they're not about kids. Like I feel like I think of R. Kelly songs as him telling himself. Some of his telling on himself. Some of his lyrics, seems like you're ready. Seems like you're ready. Some of his lyrics is just too close to home with that shit, and no. So I can't enjoy it anymore like I could in my younger years. And plus, in my younger years, I was dealing with dudes who were older. So those songs is like, yes, I'm ready, baby. It seems like I'm ready. That's what I was wanting to feel. I wanted the train to sing that to me. I'm ready. I was a young girl ready.